I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Watch this. Ready? I'm Katie Halper, and I'm in New York City. You never do it that way.
I'm Heather Gold, and I'm in Oakland. And this is Morning Jew.
Good morning, Jew.
Good morning, Jew. What are you
How are you,
drinking? You're drinking
nut milk. So gross sounding.
Okay, I just want everyone to know that the New Yorker Katie Halper's drinking the nut milk, and the Californian / Canadian Heather Gold is not. And every week we bring you some highlights from the news, and we ask, is it good for the Jews? And this week, Katie is right now, as you're watching this, somewhere in Mexico having a good time.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
So here's some great stuff out of the news, or interesting stuff out of the news for you. So you might find, for example, you're going to have a story this week where you're going to find out that if you really looked at what your Facebook friends are doing, you really paid more attention to all those people you randomly friended when you got on the service, they might be doing some creepy things like denying the Holocaust. More on that, because Katie found that out not too long ago.
The hard way.
Also, our Shonda this week. Did you know there's a religious Jewish exception to marrying more than one woman? Did you know that? I did not know that. You just need 100 rabbis to give you permission.
Are these rabbis?
Like Shonda this week. It's kind of like joining the Bohemian Grove. You get 100 dudes together, go, you can do whatever you want to the chick. He's like, fine. Okay. And then also, and our mensch of the week is connected to Lenny Kravitz, if you can believe it.
And Obama.
And the biggest nudge in the history of the world, but a good nudge, a positive nudge. So first we're going to open with, name that Jew. This one's a surprise this week. You're going to be a little surprised. This week's person who changed her name sings from a trapeze. Like many people we seem to talk about, came from Pennsylvania. But her mother's last name was Kugel. You cannot get a more Jewish name than Kugel.
And for those of our watchers who don't know what kugel is, it's a potato. How would you describe it? It's a meal. It's a dish.
The question is, was her mother's family about a cheese kugel, or a potato kugel?
Potato kugel.
It's a different kind of kugel. It's like a pudding kind of a kugel.
That's funny. There's a joke that my mom tells. That's two Jewish old ladies from the old country are sitting in a park on a park bench, and one of them says to the other, "Do you say kugel or kugel?" And the other one says, "Personally, I say pudding." It's like she's trying to be American assimilated, but she doesn't say pudding, she says pudding.
Her original name, Alicia Beth Moore Hart. Which Jew am I talking about? Do you know?
I only know because I cheated and saw you had written it down, because a lot of thought goes into this, audience. You may not know that. It's not just spontaneous. We prep a lot. But let's see, if I had known only that she sings from a trapeze.
You would know.
You had said she sings from a trapeze and is very, very buff. I would know.
She's hot. She's a little bit queer. Yeah, right. It's pink, you guys.
Pink.
It's pink.
As in P, exclamation point, NK.
Yeah.
You know that's how it's spelled?
No, you put an exclamation. Well, someone's always got a dollar sign. It's like they ran out of letters on the keyboard. Everyone wanted a new thing. Right. What's the one above the 6 called that looks like a little hat?
Oh, I don't know. Foreskin.
Someone will be called that soon with an ampersand next to it.
Does kind of look like foreskin.
She changed her name as a teenager, although this same bio is saying that she wanted to be an Olympic gymnast early. So I guess
she looks like a gymnast.
She's trying to find a way to combine that.
I can't believe they're not Jewish of the day. Actually, I can't believe they are Jewish. I'm switching it up. I started this practicing this last week, my Jewish spiritual practice. And this person is very handsome, very talented. Daniel Day-Lewis, the son of a Jewess.
Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis, handsome, half Jew. Very talented. My left
Jew
is actually the original name, which doesn't make any sense because Pupik means belly button, right?
Yeah, what if you put Jew into all of his titles? There will be Jew.
Oh my God. No Country for... Oh, was he in No Country for Old Jew?
No, he's not. No.
I always confuse those two movies. I haven't seen either.
Lincoln,
My Left Jew.
Lincoln would just be Jew.
Jewin or Link Jew.
My Beautiful Jew.
With Laundrette, was he in that?
Yeah.
Last of the Mohi Jews.
That's the comedy that didn't get made. Okay.
Mohegans.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Isn't he married to Arthur Miller's daughter? Nice and intellectual.
Oh, wow. He really came full circle. That's a Jewess, if I've ever heard of one.
I mean, Arthur Miller. A man is not a piece of fruit. The author of Willy Loman. There you go.
Not a piece of fruit? What is that? Sounds like it directly translated from Yiddish. The man is not a piece of fruit.
It's a great phrase.
I can tell you.
It's my favorite line from Death of a Salesman.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
It's heartrending.
You were saying that he is a great writer. He is not a great playwright. He is not a piece of fruit. I had no idea that was
a line from Death of a
I know.
Salesman.
I read it in high school. I don't remember. Excuse me.
So, first of all, this is an amazing story. Katie, you're in fact, Mexico as I speak to you here. You know, that's where you actually are. And you wanted to go see if people like that you knew were there so you could visit them or hook up with them. And you came across this guy, we're not going to say his name because we don't want to give him personally attention, unless I guess you want to report him to Facebook.
I don't know if he's broken any laws. If we were in Germany, I bet I could report him because it's illegal there in Austria. But, yeah, I was looking at I was planning how long I was going to stay in Mexico because I'm going for something very cool called the School of Authentic Journalism. And I was planning and trying to remember how many friends I had in Mexico to visit, stay with, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going through Facebook. Right. You can search friends who live in Mexico. And all of a sudden I come across a guy who I didn't realize was a friend of mine. And I was looking at him and we have like hundreds, like 300 friends in common.
Is he your real friend?
No, I've never met him. I don't remember accepting him. You know, when you're in the business... When you're
such a public figure, you do get
when you stand up and write, or when you do things that are like you want people to read or look at, you will often accept friendships from people who are not your real life friends.
Facebook is the new flyering,
basically. Yeah. So I saw that for some reason I looked at him. Yeah, it's true. I've had virtual to IRL in real life friends. So I look and then I see he's the founder of a group that I'm going to change the name, but let's say it's Coalition for Debating the Holocaust. And underneath that, he has another thing that is supporting Palestine. Now, there's a lot to unpack there. The first part is that I don't know if he realizes how much harm he's doing to the Palestinian cause by having a Holocaust denial line anywhere near the Palestine line. Like, that's just not a good thing, right? Like, a Palestinian called and he wants his own oppression back. He wants his fight back because he doesn't want it actually next to a Holocaust denier.
Right.
So you should never mix those things. And he's totally dedicated. His wall is covered in Holocaust denial stuff.
When you start reading this guy's stuff.
Oh, yeah. Heather's like an addict. She's going to convert. She's going to start doubting the Holocaust in about 2 minutes.
Absolutely not. So first of all, Katie, how is your friend? You just think you accepted him when he...
Yeah, I'm sure I did. I generally don't accept Holocaust deniers.
How come he's still your friend on Facebook?
Well, I thought he'd unfriend me because I wrote some comments. But I don't know. Maybe he's really into the open debate about it. But I do think that
he links to somebody who writes on the White Network with things like the International Jew Study Hour and Hitler's Table Talk Study Hour. Unbelievable.
So just say I'm a raging. Well, here's what I don't get too. I don't know if I talked about this last one, but what I don't understand when we were talking about white nationalists, it's so great that it comes up so much. But what I don't get is like, if you were into Hitler, you're probably impressed that he killed off 6 million Jews. So why deny one of his greatest achievements? How about that? Put that in your whatever and whatever. What's the expression?
Your pipe and smoke it?
Yes, thank you.
I've not really seen a lot of white nationalist whateverness.
You've been missing out.
It is stunning, you guys. It's really, really... And there's a kind of obsessive detail here of people who are like convinced they're going to prove...
Right. And it's weird because they're not like...
I want to know...
They don't seem crazy, some of them. Like, some of them seem intellectually coherent.
Do these people feel like, we create... Like, what about the survivors I know? I met growing up, my relatives. I mean, they somehow infiltrated their minds personally, each of them, and
or they lying.
And tattooed them all and created the whole...
Right, they just got themselves tattooed. A bunch of people got really drunk. A bunch of people in their 80s were out on the town and decided to get tattoos.
Around the world, and they got a hold of all of them. I mean,
yes.
Why are you still friends with this guy?
I don't know, because look, now we can do things like talk about him on the show. I want to see what he's saying. You have to. I always like to have one finger on the pulse of the white Nazi community. Is it a Shonda that I'm friends with him?
For me, it is. I mean, you think it's
But look, Heather, you're looking.
You know what? But I'm looking in a way that's unhealthy. I'm closing
all right,
it now.
All right, close it.
It's closed. I mean,
we just had an intervention. People would say to me, a Jew who's more Holocaust-oriented, they'd say, no, this is why you have to look at it, because you don't know what's out there, and that's going to creep up on you. And then,
well, I just looked. I'd like to think I got enough of a look. I mean, I don't
enough of a look.
How much good does it do me to keep looking?
It's not healthy. You need boundaries, barriers.
Well, it just, all of a sudden, it puts me, when you watch a cartoon and the character has, like, their eyes go in, like, one of those concentric circles, like, it's like that. All of a sudden, I'm like, holy crap, this is, I mean, it's...
That may have been the nerdiest explanation of cartoon I ever heard, by the way.
Thanks.
Concentric circles. No, it was very funny. It was funny.
You didn't even change your relationship to it's complicated with that guy. I'm a little.
Oh my God, that is the biggest Shonda. You are right. I should make. I don't like revealing any relationship status. Although some people may have just seen a shirtless man. I don't know if it's going to get edited out or not. And you can send checks to khalper@gmail.com. I don't have him in my relationship status, but I may have to put this guy in as it's complicated.
This next story is a Shonda of the week. As though this wasn't the big enough Shonda.
But he's not Jewish, so it's fine.
Hey, you're a bit of a Shonda for not in.
All right. I'm wearing a little Shonda.
You're threatening. You're competing
Shonda on my shoulders.
Here. You're moving up Shonda on my shoulders. It's a John Denver song. Shonda on my shoulders.
That's really funny. Wow, John Denver, you're paying us royalties when that comes out.
It was a big hit for the Berry sisters.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very big hit.
This Orthodox Jewish guy named Meir Kahn refused to give his wife a get. When you're a very religious Orthodox Jew, there's not just the civil contract of the state where you get married. There's also the religious contract that you sign as part of your marriage, and it's signed by a rabbi and witnesses. And in order to marry again, in order to be let out of your religious marriage, especially if you're very observant, you have to get something called a get.
You have to get a get.
You do have to get a get. And in order to get a get, a rabbi has to do it. Now, and if you're Orthodox, it's up to the man to give it to a woman. Here's part of the patriarchal deliciousness of the thing.
So he has the man to marry again. The man, just to clarify, the woman to be divorced needs the get, or else she's shunned. And the man, in order to marry again, needs to have given the get to the first wife.
So this guy named Meir Kahn has refused to give his wife a get, and he's been able to remarry without doing it. So it's already a Shonda that he's not giving his wife a get, and it's a crazier Shonda that he got. I didn't know this was possible, because it turns out there's an exception in super religiousness. Jewish religiousness, that if you get 100 rabbis to say it's okay, you can get married again. Part of my question is because I don't have it, is the woman that his second marriage, she doesn't even look Jewish to me.
Ooh, wait. Oh my God, I think you're totally right, Heather, about your hunch.
You never know
married Daniela Barbosa on Thursday night.
I know.
Though he has refused Lorna Kin, an Orthodox Jewish divorce. Barbosa? That's an Italian name.
You never know. Well, Calabrese's are Italian, but also they're Italian Jews. It's possible. She made big money. I don't know what, but she was successful in business or something. And he wants her to pay him big time. And so he won't give her the divorce until she does.
She's an aguna.
It's called a grass widow.
Hebrew for chained wife.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can have 100 rabbis, and they say it's kosher for you to be married
like a joke.
Without getting a get.
100 rabbis and a guy.
Right.
I mean, the only time you're with 100 men giving you permission to do whatever you want with a woman, isn't that like a private men's club? Isn't that a strip? Like, what is that?
Right.
How's that, I guess, for a religion? What's the difference between a religion and a strip club? Not much.
Only the husband has the power to grant a divorce.
Better in the club, maybe? What?
Yeah, I'd rather be. What's funny is that we talked about a bunch of shows ago, there was this huge story about this Orthodox rabbi in Brooklyn, a few of them who were being investigated by the FBI because they were accepting tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sure you remember our coverage of it. We were on the scene, very hands-on, from our laptops and Skyping. But there was they would accept tens of thousands of dollars, and in exchange they would outsource the kidnapping and torturing of these recalcitrant husbands. And I said I thought there was something feminist about it, and I liked it. My only problem with it,
creepy,
because I think if you're not giving your wife a get, you can get kidnapped and tortured, like nothing near death, but a little bit of ball busting. But the rabbi should do it for free.
Of torture is having to be hucked and nagged is one thing. To be actually torture is just a bit wrong.
Well, fine, but I mean, if that's what it takes to get him to give her a get,
what kind of torture?
He should just
a
noogie.
Oh, like
a noogie.
Maybe he has to just watch like Gallagher shows or something.
I mean, it's up to him, right? I assume that they start by tickling him and say, "Are you going to give her a get?" And then if he says no, then it gets worse. Gallagher shows and whatnot. But the problem is, it's not fair for only rich women to be able to get them. So what we need a Kickstarter, a torture recalcitrant husbands Kickstarter to raise money so that
I think the word torture might not help us. Maybe it has to be divorce, revenge.
Oh, like we shouldn't have torture in the name. You're right. It's not good PR. Revenge, settling, marriage dispute, marriage resolution,
divorce bounty hunter.
Yes. Oh, this should be a reality TV show.
It could
be
only
a job. Weren't totally criminal.
Or we organize Jewish women to go over and just nag him.
A naggin. They should have a naggin.
We'll have a naggin. We just show up outside his house and we fucking talk till he can't take it anymore.
Wait, naggin actually sounds like, what's the word I just said? Anugin? A naggin.
Aguna.
Look at that. Oh, okay. There. Anyway, this is really, Heather, I hope this is making you consider reconsider your condemnation of these rabbis who do what needs to be done when men refuse.
And we're going to close with our Mensch of the Week, which is a great story. So a couple of weeks ago, Obama presented the U.S. Medal of Honor to a bunch of soldiers, maybe a couple dozen soldiers, who were from different ethnicities that were discriminated against in the past, and that's why these men and women had not been honored. And one of these people who was awarded the Medal of Honor posthumously is none other than Lenny Kravitz. Not just Lenny Kravitz, the incredible guitarist.
That's his name. Right.
Musician Lenny Kravitz. It's the guy he was named after. It's his uncle.
Right.
Lenny Kravitz, Leonard Kravitz, who fought in the Korean War, who volunteered to go fight in the Korean War. We have this great picture of Lenny Kravitz, by the way, with this Funny or Die picture that they grabbed, which is awesome because it makes you see the nice Jewish boy side of Lenny Kravitz, the musician. Your Jewish mother would say, "Put on a sweater, I'm cold." So he's got a scarf because obviously his mother's cold.
Right.
So check this out: the best friend of the uncle, Mitch Liebman, this guy who's 83 years old, really wanted his friend, his close friend, the original Lenny Kravitz, to be given this award because when they were in Korea, everyone had to get out of an area and he stayed behind and covered everyone. He provided cover. He saved all these lives and he was killed. And he watched other people in the exact same kind of a situation be given the Medal of Honor. And this guy, Lenny Kravitz, the uncle of Lenny Kravitz. The first Lenny Kravitz.
Leonard. We can call him Leonard.
Leonard Kravitz, Leonard M. Kravitz. Didn't get one. And he said, well, I just came to the conclusion they don't give the Medal of Honor to Jews. This was the 50s. And sure enough, turns out, now that we have Obama in office, turns out that's actually what happened. So Obama gave him the Medal of Honor. And Mitch Liebman, but check this out, Mitch Liebman is our Mensch of the Week. Even though Lenny Kravitz, the guitarist, is awesome, and Leonard M. Kravitz was a war hero, his pal, Mitch Liebman, hucked and knucked and nudged the federal government and the Department of Defense for 50 years and called and had letter writing campaigns and got in touch with all these elected officials to make sure his friend was honored. And he was. It took him 50 years.
And he says, I talked about nothing for 50 years other than that, he said, of his crest, which is so nice and so Jewish. It's so good when a Jew does something Jewy like that for a good cause.
And it works out. And it's for a positive reason,
out.
because there have been plenty of Jews who have said the same thing over and over for 50 years, not for any useful purpose. What they don't have
it's about like a grudge.
What they don't have in this story is a little sentence from his wife saying, "I'm really relieved now that I don't have to hear about Leonard Kravitz anymore."
What a heartburn I got. Such agita.
Yeah, now he's going to move on to backaches. You might as well stick with Leonard Kravitz. So that's it for the week. I hope you're having fun in Mexico. Drinking.
Thank you. And we're going to give him, we're actually, just to clarify, this story is a little bit old. It's like a couple of weeks old, but we thought that we would be remiss to not talk about it. And we want to honor his spirit of nudging and the spirit of reporting on something late. So we're not just giving him a Mensch award, but we're giving him a Medal of Freedom from Morning Jew. It's called an MJ Medal of Freedom.
It's true. And also we want to tell you about things we have coming up. We're going to live tweet Simon Sharma's Story of the Jews. And if you want to do that with us, we're going to start with episode 1. Watch it with us. 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast on April the 10th.
Okay, well, I will see you next week. Nice to see you
next week. Enjoy Mexico.
And I hope I'm enjoying Mexico. Please tell me I'm enjoying Mexico, Katie.
Why wouldn't you enjoy it?
I don't know. It's going to be a lot of work. All right. See you later.
It's fun. Bye.
I'll go to the Jewish neighborhood in Mexico City. Not a bad idea.